A very good morning to all our viewers. Welcome to Opening Bell with me, Stacy Pereira. We have a lot more lined up, and I'm going to take you through all the news and cues that could impact your trading day. So let's not waste any time and let's get straight to all the cues that you should be watching out for. Well, in some global cues first, that really sets the stage for where our Indian markets are going to perform. The Senate has gone ahead and passed that debt ceiling bill in the House, and that prevents that first US default that we could have seen. But Wall Street, even before that, ended quite high on Thursday. The session there with the Dow Jones gaining over 150 points. In fact, the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 both closed at their highest levels since August. Now look at Asia, where most of the indices are largely higher, you could say. In fact, even the SGX Nifty is signaling a higher start for the Indian markets as well. But also overnight, if you look at the commodities, there we saw Brent crude surging for over 3%, the highest in 2 weeks as this demand outlook improves. Also, the uncertainty now over the US debt ceiling is done and over with. The focus will now shift to the OPEC Plus meeting, which is due on Monday. And back home, if we look at the fund flows, well, the FIIs in provisional data for June 1st show that they sold shares worth 71.07 crores, whereas DIIs were the ones buying those shares. They've bought shares worth 488.93 crores. But it was the first trading day in the month of June, and it was weekly expiry as well. We did see Indian stocks trade a bit on the lower side. But can Nifty really rebound and regain its momentum? Can it reach that 18,600 level once again? To discuss that and more, all of your stocks and strategies are likely to be put in the spotlight, and for that I'm joined by MANDAR JAMSANDEKAR from the Director at Precision Technical Analysis. Thank you so much for speaking with us, MANDAR, here at Moneycontrol. Let's get you first to give us an analysis of the levels that we are seeing in the Nifty. What do you really would put it at? We are seeing it will be a 2 days of negative trade, one would say, but we've seen that rally. So is this correction really what was expected?
Stacey, good morning, and thank you for having me on your show. Basically what has happened is, if you see the way the Nifty is traded throughout the month of May, it was trading range bound. 18,100 was the support, and on the upside 18,400, 450, that was the resistance. Then we found that last week on Friday, the Nifty broke this resistance on the upside. So it was a positive kind of a formation that we have seen. Now, the last 4 days have been of consolidation, but I think the overall structure, the bullish structure for the Nifty that we have witnessed for the last 2-3 months is intact. So till the time the Nifty trades above this level of 18,450, 500, which is the support for the Nifty, I believe the market should trade bullish. Yes, it is a script specific market. Index may not do much, as we have seen in the last 4 days. The intraday range has been very small. It is trading in a very narrow range in the intraday. But I think the bullish bias continues. It is a script specific market, so I may not expect the Nifty to display a big kind of a move. But yes, we will see a lot of stocks out of the index, which would show us good kind of moves going forward.
Right. So, Mandar, would you suggest it's a right time to be buying on dips until that critical support level of 18,300 on the downside is not surpassed? Do you believe these are levels that one should be entering the market then?
Stacey, yes, you put it right. We should be buying at lower levels, no doubt about it. The only thing which one needs to be careful of in this current market is there are plenty of stocks which have run up in a very short time period. So try to avoid those stocks. Don't try to catch them at the top after they have displayed 10 and 20% kind of an up move. So stocks which have not moved, stocks which are in a consolidation or just starting their up move or breaking their resistances, those are stocks which one should be interested in. And as you put it, yes, this is a market where we have to buy on dips, no doubt about it.
Right, Mandar, we'll definitely be coming back to you in a bit, but let's also take a look at some of the stocks that are going to be a buzz in trade, and one in focus will definitely be that of Coal India, where we do know that the offer for sale has started yesterday. In fact, on day one, the subscription was at 3.46 times what the issue size. Well, the government has decided to now go ahead and exercise a green shoe option as well on June 2nd, that is today. Now, the offer size for that OFS issue by the country's largest coal mining company for the non-retail investors that was open yesterday is about 8.31 crore shares. And now for the retail investors, it is about 92.44 lakh shares to the base issue price. But with this, the government has decided to now exercise this green shoe option, which will extend to the up to 9.24 crores of shares, which is about 1.5% of its stake. Now, this is also in addition to that issue size of 9.24 crore shares. Now, accordingly to the offer size, there will be about, if you have to do this calculation, about 18.48 crore shares, of which 1.84 crore shares would be reserved as an allocation just for retail investors, and this offer opens today on June 2nd. So that will be a counter to be looking out for. Like you can see, quite under pressure in trade yesterday, closing at that 228 levels, but the offer was put out for 225. So definitely seeing that kind of pressure, but maybe a good time to be buying in. In fact, let me get Mandar back and ask him whether this is a good option that people could be looking at. Quite a bit of, in this kind of market, there was an OFS that came out of nowhere. Do you think it is something that will excite people, and especially now that there is pressure on the stock also going lower? Would that be something people could be looking out for Coal India at this point?
Stacy, see, if somebody has got a long-term view and is ready to hold on to this stock with a 5-year view, then yes, surely one can go for it. No doubt about it. It also pays good kind of dividend. So long-term investors would surely be interested. Technically, if you see for the last 12, 13 years since listing, the stock has not done much. So until and unless you are interested in dividend, you may not be interested in this stock, at least at this level. Maybe on corrections, on downsides, if the price slides down, then yes, one can surely be interested. And one important thing which everybody needs to understand is, so if somebody is interested in a price move, in a short-term kind of a move, then one needs to understand that whenever a company goes through any kind of corporate action, the next 1 to 2 quarters are subdued for the price. So the price tries to get the hang of whatever is happening, and therefore corporate actions immediately don't see any kind of price discounting in the price. So therefore, from a short-term view, nothing much would happen. 208 and 260 is the kind of range that the price has. At support levels, yes, one can surely look for it. But from this OFS point of view, if somebody has got a 5-year view, then yes, it's a good investment.
Well, that's the view coming in for Coal India and this OFS that was opened yesterday. But Mandar, let's also look at the banking pack. Well, we did see a lot of action there, especially the Bank Nifty has been, hitting record highs, and then over the past 2 sessions has seen some bit of pressure. But could a decisive break, maybe around 43,500, could that really, deteriorate the whole market mood, you would say, because that's the one taking or really pushing the benchmarks also higher? This is for the Bank Nifty.
Yes, Stacy. See, what has happened is on Monday, we saw the Bank Nifty breaking its all-time high, making new highs. So that was a positive move. Monday, Tuesday, both the days we saw Bank Nifty sustaining up at all-time highs. So that was positive. But then what has happened is yesterday and day before yesterday, the markets have given up those all-time highs, and there it has fallen down again. So important levels for the Bank Nifty is 44,125 and 44,250. That's an important resistance for the Bank Nifty. This is the same level from where the Bank Nifty had fallen in December of 22. So therefore, this is a major resistance, and Bank Nifty has to move above this level, and it has to sustain above this level. That also is important. Somehow, I think yesterday the culprit was SBI, State Bank of India, which is seen a gap down opening day before yesterday, and yesterday it traded weak again. So that is the culprit. But yes, for Bank Nifty, it is very important for it to sustain above 44,250 to see renewed buying interest in not only the index but also banking counters.
Right. Well, we have another 2-3 minutes to go before that opening bell. So let's look at another stock that will be a buzz in trade. Well, we did have MTAR Technologies. That one was quite a buzz. That's because Society Generale has picked up 1.35% stake in that company. Now, this also happened through an OFS route. So, this also happened through a bulk deal, I beg your pardon, and in which we saw Society Generale acquire about a 4.16 lakh equity shares, which comes up to about 1.35% stake in the company. Now, this precision engineering company the deal was done in an open market transaction at an average price we're given to understand was about 1,880 per share. However, the promoter, that is Alilavati Pavitra Reddy, she has sold about 3.47 lakh shares in the company, which would be at an average price of about 1,880.04 per share. So that is going to be an exciting counter to see how markets are reacting to it. Yesterday, you can see those closing prices there on your screens. Well, but we will have to wait and see how all of these shares really react. We do have an interesting trading session. We just got to know before this that the US Senate has gone ahead and passed that US debt ceiling bill. So that is also going to have some kind of a reaction. But there on your screen, those opening cues, you can see the Nifty back in the green, 18,500 odd levels, just about 0.3%. It's starting off there, but we can definitely see how that momentum, if it could be, picked up from there, and 18,600 levels is what most of the strikes are on. Sensex, for that matter, also opening higher, 62,609 odd levels, just 0.2% higher, but that is likely to pick up. The Bank Nifty also there again back to that 44,000 levels that we were talking about as a good support level for the Bank Nifty. Mid caps, those are the ones in fact outperforming even in these 2 days that we saw some bit of pressure. Mid cap and small cap, both those indices back comfortably in the green. In fact, the only ones outshining the benchmarks, you could say, even while there was that profit taking that was happening across the benchmarks. But in terms of sectoral indices, Nifty Auto also quite comfortable. We had all of those May sales data that had come in yesterday and quite positive, you could say, for the auto counters. Nifty IT, another one of the counters that has been quite positive all through the week, and really the one pushing the indices because of its size. Nifty Metals, this one also, if you have to look at it from a weekly or even a monthly basis, this counter quite positive, one could say. FMCG index, that one, even though after pressure, after looking at those consumption numbers in the GDP, we are seeing a bit of that rural recovery that is taking place, and which is why even that FMCG counter doing quite well. Cap Good index as well in the green on your screens, as you can see. Even the benchmarks, that's the one that we're going to be talking about more in details. But let's look at some of the gainers on the index there. Hero MotoCorp, Hindalco, Adani Enterprise, those are a couple of those counters that are ticking in higher. You could say the Hero and all of those. Auto packs definitely is going to be pushing higher because you got some positive numbers, although you wouldn't say they were really splendid. The two-wheelers still seeing that little bit of that recovery, but not to those expected levels. Tech Mahindra, another one. Adani Ports, after its results, then the positive. Ultratech Cement, another one of those big gainers. Bajaj Auto, ICICI Bank, Tata Steel, all of those counters there comfortably in the green. Let's also look at the losers now. Coal India, well, people not giving that whole OFS route a thumbs up, one could say. Investors, even though it's coming at a discount. Asian Paints there, another one. Tata Motors, that counter perhaps under pressure after its sales data. It just saw about 1% sales growth in May, so that has kept it quite dizzy. Even the CV sales, for that matter, for Tata Motors not so, not coming up to the mark of what it has been seeing. And those are the growth drivers really for the company. So we'll have to wait and see how all of these pan out through the day, because we've been seeing quite a bit of swings between positive and negative. But like we were indicating, the market's definitely getting off to a positive start. Let me get back my guest, my technical analyst, Mandar. How are you reading these numbers? This is what unexpected lines we did see after that, 2 days gap or 2 days under pressure. We're back in the green. Is this going to continue? Can we see a rebound now? We can comfortably say that for the Nifty.
Stacey, I think today again, looking at the first 4 minutes of trade, there's no clear direction as such. Yes, the market Nifty has opened with a gap up, no doubt about it. So that's a positive. So Nifty could head higher, no doubt about it. As I said, Nifty, till the time Nifty trades above this, its important support level of 18,450, 500, the bias is going to remain bullish. But looking at the intraday with the gap up opening, normally what happens is, and this is what we have seen in the last 2 weeks, whenever we have seen a gap up opening at higher levels, somehow the market loses steam. So we just need to wait and watch as to whether the steam, the interest continues as the Nifty continues to move up. But yes, overall, with a 10 to 15 day view, the bias remains bullish, and I think Nifty is going to head for all-time highs soon.
Right. What about, sector specific? We are looking at autos, which are doing really well in trade. That index, maybe just on the back of all those sales data that has come out, but also IT as a pack has been doing really well. So if you have to look at the sectoral front, which one would you be looking at this point, and why?
Stacy, we cannot take a sectoral view as of now because it's a lot mixed. As I said, this is a script specific market, so there are plenty of stocks across sectors which are showing interest. So it cannot be a single sector which you have to take a look at. Say, for example, if you look at four-wheelers, then you'll find that Tata Motors looks good. But at the same time, you'll find that Ashok Leyland is still not showing that kind of interest. So it's kind of a mixed kind of a thing. Even in banks, if you say, there are certain banks like, for example, SBI, which is trading in a long-term uptrend. But then at the same time, you have a Bank of Baroda, which is facing resistance at current level. So it's a mixed kind of a market. You cannot take a sector kind of a view right now. Same is the case with IT, wherein you'll find that Zensar Tech is showing good kind of an up move strength, showing us fresh invitations, moving up. But at the same time, Infosys and TCS is finding it difficult to move up. So it's kind of a mixed kind of a thing, and therefore I believe this is a script specific market, and instead of taking a sector view, one needs to look at individual stocks. That would be a better kind of, that would generate a better kind of opportunity for investors as well as traders.
What about the broader markets? Because those are the ones at least that have been outperforming mid-cap and small-cap stocks. Is this a time to be looking at those, or one should just wait for the rally in the benchmarks?
No, see, what is happening is, Stacy, as the benchmarks are, so as the index is consolidating, as it is trading in a range between two levels, we are finding that the interest is more out of the index, so stocks out of the index. So that's the reason as to why we have seen mid cap and small cap stocks showing good kind of say. Plus, earnings is one important factor, is what is leading these moves. So you will see good kind of moves in stocks which have displayed good kind of earnings. Plus, there is one theme which we've forgotten, and that is tourism. So you've seen good kind of moves in hotels as well. So Indian hotels looks good on the charts. It's been trading in an uptrend for the last few days, and I think this up move is going to continue. So yes, as you said, the interest is in mid cap and small cap, and the reason behind it is because most of the large caps right now are consolidating. They are not having that kind of interest, and that the same thing is reflected on the index as well.
Right. Mandar, stay on with us. Let's also look at a couple of other stocks. Well, we do have AB Capital or Aditya Birla Capital. Now, this financial service company has, the board in fact, has gone ahead and approved the preferential issuance of about 1,250 crore rupees to its promoter and the promoter group entities. Now, out of the total approved equity fundraise, they can go up to 3,000 crore rupees. So this is going to be quite interesting to see how this stock really comes about. On your screens, AB Capital there trading in the positive quite comfortably around that 176 levels. But the preferential issuance will be undertaken at the price of about 165.1 per share. This is important if you have to compare it to what it's currently trading at. Now, the issuance of shares will be around worth 1,000 crores to Grasim Industries, which is one of the promoters, and also 250 crores to Surya Kiran Investments Private Limited, which is a promoter group entity. So this is interesting to see how, and perhaps which is why the stock is also trading higher because of this announcement, the board going ahead and approving that preferential issue. Another stock that we, in fact, our sister network had spoken about was the fundraising for Bank of Maharashtra, which is going to go ahead and launch its QIP. Now, we are given to understand that the base issue size for that QIP will be around 500 crore rupees, and in fact that could be further scaled up to about 1,000 crores. Now, the indicative price we are given we are being told is around 28.5 rupees per share, which, if you have to look at it right now, is at a discount because Bank of Maharashtra is currently trading at 31.30 odd levels. So for that indicative price to be around 28.5 would mean that it is going to be at a discount of about 5% to SEBI's floor price. So this will be another stock that is going to be quite interesting. But let me go back to Mandar now to ask him what are his specific stock picks that he would like to recommend to our viewers. Mandar, what are the stocks that you're recommending today, and what sectors they come from?
Stacy, 4 stocks. See, they come. It's not one sector. As I said, it's plenty of sectors that are showing good kind of. So it's a script-specific market right now. The first stock is Tata Motors. Now, Tata Motors has been trading in a strong kind of an uptrend for the last few months. It approached a resistance from all-time highs. So if you join all the all-time highs and plot a trend line, the resistance came at around levels of 525. Yesterday, the price managed to break past this resistance, and therefore it also generated a fresh invitation to go long. This is from a positional point of view, a short-term view. It's made an Aflac formation, generated a breakout yesterday, strong volumes. Therefore, a buy in Tata Motors with a stop loss at 521 for a target of 577, and I expect this target to be achieved in the next 2 weeks. Then the second stock is BEML. BEML also after a brief consolidation of last 3 weeks had generated a breakout yesterday. The resistance was at around levels of 1450, 1460. This has been broken yesterday, and going forward, I believe the stock should be able to display 10 to 15% of upside. Therefore, a buy in it with a stop loss at 1433 for an upside target of 1685. The third stock is Datamatics. Datamatics has been trading in a strong kind of an uptrend in the month of April and May. The stock displayed a strong up move from levels of 290. It moved up to levels of 500. Then it consolidated throughout May and generated a fresh breakout again yesterday. Therefore, a buy in Datamatics with a stop loss at 474 for an upside target of 667. And the last stock is from the IT pack, that is Zensar Tech. As I said, it's a mixed kind of a view. Zensar is showing a strong kind of an uptrend for the last few months. So if you see from the month of Jan 23, the stock has been trading in an uptrend. It's given up its downtrend that all the IT pack had witnessed in the last 1.5 years. And yesterday itself, it's generated a breakout on the short-term charts. Therefore, a buy in Zensar with a stop loss at 369 for an upside target of 486.
Well, that's quite an interesting set of picks from Mandar. Zensar Tech he's looking at. He's also looking at Datamatics, BML, one of them. So quite an interesting day, quite an interesting week it has been, we could say. But thank you so much, Mandar, for speaking with us here and speaking to Moneycontrol. And we'll always be back with a lot more insight. But with that, it's a wrap and goodbye from me and the entire team who puts this piece together. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching in. But please do post us your feedback for us in that comment section below, and follow us on the link at the bottom of your screens. And for the rest of the updates, stay tuned to moneycontrol.com as well as the Moneycontrol app.